Hit it. And we're live recorded from the Pacific Northwest right now. It is Saturday, July 22nd, 11:22 p.m. That's right. Giving Skull here a little laugh is me pointing at me. I'm Jay. Um and um yesterday we did not podcast. I think there was one point where like I hallucinated that we did, but we actually didn't. I don't know. It was weird. Weird day. But I was probably having like some little meltdown or something. Just didn't know how to communicate. Um yeah, anyway, but today's a brand new day. And um, Skull and I got up today and um, yeah, you can see it. You see that? We have been slowly painting the ceiling. So as you can see the difference here, you get the landlord special beige versus slowly coming together. There's a bunch of layers, but that's white. I don't remember the actual like paint color name, but that's white. And um, yeah, so we wrapped that up, and then I went to work. I'd like to have like a little walk to work, and I got there like right on time. And as soon as I got there, everything was a fucking disaster. The electricity didn't work. I didn't have enough space to do my own job. Um, and both of the owners were at a fucking wedding. So they're like, sorry, can't help ya. So that was like the other part of the story for that one. But yeah, and then I got off and I went to Skull's job to check in, and he was still working. So I went and had a little bevy and a snack up the street. And it was so tasty. And anyway, we met up and then we were social again. And it was a good time.
So, how many jobs have you had?
How many jobs have I had? Like individual job positions or like at one place?
How many, well,
Or,
quantify the number of skills you've learned.
oh, that's a lot.
Like, four.
Four skills.
There's like, different, probably three of them are different kinds of weaving. And then you're also good at like wiping tables down.
That's it? That's all that I'm good at? What?
Oh, wait, no, you can, develop film.
I have many skills. Yeah, I have skills within like the photo film department. I have skills within
Accounting.
accounting. I have skills within like customer service, like how to like not piss somebody off because they're not getting what they want, but like be nice about it
Making
and
websites.
whatever. Yeah, I have skills at like web pages and whatever, just like
Social media.
social media, other like computer, like navigation, management type stuff. Um, I can like coordinate events or like
Cooking.
do recruitment. I'm a cooker. I
Dishwashing.
am a dishwasher. I'm very friendly, team oriented. Okay, So those are some of the skills. What
Well,
else do you
trails.
want
What
to
about
know?
trail skills?
Oh yeah, I did like outdoor work with trails and landscaping, um, water systems. I did some work with water cisterns where they collect rainwater and you can connect like a piping system to do like a passive water flow. What else do you want to know? Pet sitting,
Well, how about like the
pet care,
pa-
human care.
camping skills? Like, if you're out on the trails, like, you're not like going home. It's not like a commute. We like drive to the trail in the morning and then drive drive home at night in the evening or whatever
Yeah,
and
I
work all
mean, it
day.
depends on the situation. So, yeah, I was working backcountry trails, so I would be gone for like 11 days. So, day one would be like drive 6 hours to get um, to park at like the trailhead, and then depending on where we were at, we would either camp at the trailhead or we would have to hike out up to 12 miles before we even set up camp. And then so that would be like, we get there if it was the 12-mile hike, we would get there, stay the night at the parking lot, and then the next day we would hike out um, to wherever our campsite was, and then we would just be there, and then every day we would like go from we would hike from campsite. So we had to hike all of our stuff out, food, water, even because there was a time where there just wasn't any water flow out there, where we could purify the water. We had to hike out like our gear, um, so our heavy boots, our like camp sandals for comfort because we can't just be sweaty and gross all the time. Kind of need to air out. Our tents, our cookware, our tools. We even had to hike out our tools. So there was like a crosscut saw, um, like little like sledgehammers and things like that. Pigmatics, um, McLeod's, and then yeah, so we would just hike out to like where we were working on the trail from there, and we would adjust where we were camping. Usually not within the same hitch is what we would call them, or spike. Some people call them spikes. So not usually during the same trip, but we'd be there at the end of whatever the 10, 11 days. We would hike back and then drive home, and then the next time we go out there we just wouldn't hike out as far and set up camp. We would be like a little bit more whatever in a different spot. And then there were like other situations where we would be camped out like at a whatever fire station, um, maintenance grounds, and we would drive to our site every day and hike, um, and work on the trail. But yeah, it really just depended on the projects that we were working on and where we were and stuff like that. Just because like there were some trails that were more just for day use and didn't really have like designated camping areas. So we weren't like necessarily allowed to do that, um, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. What else you got for me?
Well, you were doing that professionally, huh? So you didn't learn you learned about like you what you were doing was building trails. So people camp and it's not like that isn't rocket science, right? But like
No, but there are like tactics and techniques to like I mean they didn't teach us that. It was just like things that I learned. Like because we're out there for so long, I learned about wipey baths
okay.
from my dear friend. And I was like, wow, that's like a great comfort to have. Like, I don't know, just so I don't like, I don't know, get
Well,
super
what is that?
gross.
What is that?
Wipies? Wipey bags. You just get wet wipes. You carry them out, and if you're in backcountry, you have to hoist them up in a bear bag or something because they're smelly. They're a smelly product. You don't want to have smelly products in your tent, food or hygiene products or anything like that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I could like, I don't know, wipe my vulva clean. I could wipe
Okay.
my armpits because they were stinky and gross or whatever, like wipe my feet off, refresh them a little bit. Um, you know, I mean there are other situations and other ways to do that too. Like I worked backcountry, kind of backcountry in California, and we had like a base camp, but we put up a shower. It was just like, you hang up some tarps and then you have like this whatever contraption where you could like take a shower. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just like take a bucket of water and like have a rag or something and do like a little sponge bath
Mm.
situation. Just because like, I don't know. I don't want like the tarp to stick to me, and I don't know. It felt gross to have like, all of us like being all sweaty and dirty and gross, and then like using that situation.
Mm.
And then when I was doing that job in California too, we had um, clothes washing buckets, so
Okay.
we could wash our clothes because we were there for months, just with what we had. Um,
Clothes washing buckets that someone would like have with
well,
some
that
gear stacked
that
up.
was like we would have everything at like a base campsite, so it would be like access to a vehicle. Um, it was just a little more remote where we weren't driving to the site every day, so we just camped there. And we just had different situations too sometimes where we would like go and camp out a little more remotely and then return back to base camp and get some hygiene or whatever cleaning done if we needed.
The base camp had like individual bedrooms, TVs,
Well,
Wi-Fi,
the base camp
AC, individual
had a kitchen
jacuzzis.
tent,
Oh,
a big like military style kitchen tent where you could like stand up inside of it, and there was like a stove and a bunch of coolers, and um, someone would have to sleep in there, so we all had like a rotation to sleep in the kitchen tent just to make sure no critters got in, or
what kind of
big
critters?
big critters, bears.
So you would scare bears away. You're like, I'm in the kitchen tent, right? And so there's like food, and so you're just like, raw. You put your hands in the air high, right? If you see a
Yeah,
bear,
right, yeah.
try to intimidate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's the way to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I have so many skills from my silly little jobs. What else do you want to know?
I mean, I want to hear more about accounting. I don't know if that's for this episode. What do you think? Um, do you think the skills pay the bills? Like we were talking when we were socializing earlier tonight about like real estate. As usual, it comes up with me, but I think it comes with every. I think it's actually it's in the news right now as having all these different records um, for prices and costs, and they don't describe it as cost of living or inflation when it's housing. It's just when it's other stuff or whatever. But um, it there are careers starting even for people like later in life. It does. I think it does happen sometimes in America. Maybe it's rarely, and we can look at these percentages of people and things like that. But um, where it's like somebody like makes enough money to be able to like be old and not work and like have health care
Mm.
and yeah, and however that works in terms of property or real estate or whatever, but the American system, it is tied to home ownership for a lot of people. I mean, for the vast majority of people, I should say, that or those of whom do have that sort of retirement setup where with healthcare we have like what motivation does a working class person have to like stay in shape and like be healthy because even if you're physically healthy relative to being 80 or whatever, um, if you can't work and you don't have the wealth or whatever to retire, um, life's gonna be pretty miserable because you probably like there's something like I feel like there is somewhat of a safety net for a lot of people in this country, even people who don't have like born into money or something like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but it still could be like miserable, just because you don't like literally die in the streets doesn't mean that some whatever institutionalized living, medical centers or halfway houses um, is a desirable life to think about living for me, and it's I don't know. Yeah, so I wonder, job skills,
Mm.
resumes, what is that? How does that point towards, and everyone's experience? There's infinite experiences that can be had, um, because there's all different whatever walks of life, and if we're talking about humankind on this program, not necessarily. I didn't mean. Um,
I hope it wasn't paused the whole time.
I don't think so. I just
Okay.
touched it. I was trying
Okay.
to wipe like a crumb off of it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of relating the the jobs conversation to other thoughts. Um, well, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about does being old seem great to you?
Um, I guess that I like haven't thought about the realities of like uh, like where our world is heading and like what that means for me to be an old person. I more just like get excited about, I don't know, being an old person who like is non-binary and like is like a fucking weirdo and like is sassy or whatever. Like I hope that I'm still, like me, but like just old and I I don't know. That's more what I feel like I'm into, but I mean, I say this sometimes where I'm just like, yeah, there's going to be no like social security like for me when I'm supposed to like retire or whatever, and like that's something that like I've been working and like paying into. Like, yeah, granted, like I haven't had like, I haven't been like a full-time worker like my entire adult life, and like um I don't know. I don't am I considered a full-time worker even now like with 3 jobs? I'm not sure. I have to think about that. I might be
I think you
actually.
are right.
Yeah, but like again, like splitting that between like 3 jobs because there are no jobs that want to give you full time with benefits to do like, whatever you're like good at or whatever you're like interested in, and like it's mostly like service industry like right now that's doing that, or like retail that's doing that. Like, yeah, I could
Is
work
there
for the
even that much
government.
is there that much yeah, I mean there's administrative jobs around, right?
Yeah, there's always administrative, and they do want like, the one person to give benefits to, but like, like I don't know. It's interesting to think about. And like, are the benefits that good? Is the pay that good? Stuff like that.
Right. Right.
Is
Hey,
there
let's put out positive vibes and like everything's going great at my second job. Everything's going great at my second job. Um, let's put out those vibes, listeners, please.
Yeah, everything's going great,
Yeah, it's true.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know. Should we pause it there?
Yes.
Great. We will return tomorrow, and I don't know, maybe we'll continue the same thing, or we'll take it in a different direction. But, as usual.
If you're listening to this and you don't know where it came from, the YouTube handle that these are being posted on is republictoday.net.
That's correct. So, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.